a long time in mixed martial arts, women were overlooked, and it seems like just yesterday when Dana White said the UFC wouldn't have a women's division. Fast forward a few short years and UFC pay-per-views were being headlined by women and drawing huge numbers in the process. Over the course of the evolution of women's MMA, we have seen some real trailblazers, and I'm here to talk about 8 of the best. I'm Alicia from Inside the Fights, and here are the 8 toughest women MMA has ever seen. Number 8, Holm. The woman who changed the course of MMA with just one kick in Australia. Although Holly's record recently hasn't been perfect, which is why we've placed her lower down the list, this former world champion has always faced the highest level of competition. Prior to MMA, she amassed an absolutely stellar boxing record of 33 wins, 2 losses, and 3 draws, earning her multiple world championships. Her coach Mike Winkeljohn recently went on record to say that he believes Holm has the tools to pick apart Cyborg. If this prophecy could be realized, she'd begin making her way to the top of this list for sure. Number 7, Valentina Shevchenko. Perhaps one of the most overlooked women in MMA when talking about the best. She's beaten our number 8, former champion Holm, as well as Juliana Pena and Sarah Kaufman. She's also a Muay Thai world champion and waiting patiently as the number 1 contender to the Bantamweight Championship of the world with her 14-2 record. 6, Claudia Gadelha. Our number 6 would be known as the baddest strawweight of all time. That is, if there weren't a certain someone in her division who we will get to later on. Aside from her 2 losses to her arch rival, Gadelha has beaten all comers, and at 28, she still has the time to make the necessary improvements and perhaps one day become champion. 5, Yuka Tsuji. Yuka Tsuji is a true pioneer for women's MMA. Debuting way back in 2001, more than a decade before the explosion of women's MMA, Tsuji went on to amass a record of 24 wins and 3 losses, including a 14-fight winning streak. Unfortunately, she doesn't get the recognition she deserves. However, if you research her achievements, it's very clear to see that she was a force to reckon with in the early days. 4, Amanda Nunes. With a stellar record along with back-to-back dominating wins over 2 of the greats in Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate, Amanda Nunes is one of the best ever. Recently, however, she was set to face the supremely talented Valentina Shevchenko at UFC 213, but had to pull out due to illness from weight cutting. This is disappointing for a number of reasons, particularly writing this list. A win for Shevchenko could have arguably thrust her into our number 4 spot, but for now, the UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion stays at number 4. 3, Ronda Rousey. Unfortunately, since Ronda's last 2 fights were definitive defeats, it seems to have tarnished the memory of what Ronda achieved before her fall from grace. Prior to Ronda becoming a superstar in Strikeforce, she was a judo Olympian, even picking up the bronze at the 2008 Olympic Games. She then went on to be such a draw in the early days of her MMA career that it forced Dana White to create her a bantamweight division in the UFC. Before her 2 losses, let's remember that Ronda picked up 12 victories in a row, finishing all but 1 in the first round. We hope that in time, when people reflect on Ronda's career, rather than thinking about the 2 losses, we think about the massive contribution she made to women's MMA. 2, Cris Cyborg. Since losing her first MMA fight in 2005, Cyborg has been dominating the competition with ease, culminating in her recent victory at UFC 214 to finally capture the 145-pound UFC Women's Championship. The vacant belt had to be decided in a bout against Tanya Evinger after previous champion Germaine de Randamie opted to vacate her championship rather than face the wrath of Cyborg. However, despite these achievements, we feel we have to comment on her previously banned substance violations in order to give a balanced view. If you're looking for the baddest of all time, it's hard to argue against Cyborg, but we feel all things considered, one stands above all others. In at number 1, we have Joanna Jedrzejczyk. Some people will take issue with this, not citing Cyborg as the greatest of all time, but here at Inside the Fights, we feel that Cyborg's legacy has been tarnished to a certain degree based on banned substance violations earlier in her career. Joanna, however, has steered clear of these issues and amassed a perfect record as the undisputed strawweight champion in the UFC. Not only is Joanna an amazing fighter, she's also gaining favor with UFC management and fans for her willingness to fight anyone at any time. According to Dana White, when after Amanda Nunes pulled out of her scheduled title defense at UFC 213, she offered to step in last minute, despite Shevchenko outweighing her by about 20 pounds. Actions like this combined with her perfect MMA record, Muay Thai, and kickboxing world championships make her the toughest woman ever to fight in mixed martial arts. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We really hope that you enjoyed this video. Remember, to help us grow, please like and share this video, subscribe to us because every subscription helps us out, and leave us a comment if you feel we left any of the greats out of the list. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me at Alicia Atout on Instagram and Twitter, and of course visit InsideTheFights.com. We will see you next time on Inside the Fights.